Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining in today's session and giving me your valuable association. We are in the third shower of nectar and we are discussing about the Anartha Nivritti. And in Anartha Nivritti, we first saw the four types of anarthas that arise in the process of chanting. And the four types of anarthas, two of them are relating to papa and punya, papotha and sukritotha, dushkritotha, two types. Then aparadotha, bhaktiotha. So that part we have completed now. Now aparadotha we are seeing. And in aparada, we saw two things. Actually, it will be nice if I can ask you and you can answer this. No, it will be better so that you are internalizing and digesting. So in aparadotha, we discussed two types of aparadha. Can you name them?
Nama and Seva Aparadha, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that is one way of classification. Yeah. But what I had in my mind was conscious and unconscious aparadhas. No? So unconscious aparadhas can be recent or long-standing. And these aparadhas, because they are unconscious, you do not know, you are not aware of them. So how to become aware of them? Please. You can all keep your thing unmuted only so that you can just answer. You don't have to unmute every time. You are only a small group, no, there won't be any problem. How to become aware of unconscious aparadhas?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Janat Pranam Prabhuji. Unconscious of this aparadhas only happens because of ignorance, Prabhuji.
Yeah, but how to become aware?
Prabhuji, if you have got the consciousness, automatically we can be able to identify the unconscious aparadhas.
No, unconscious by definition is unconscious.
Prabhuji, if you are aware, awareness will come. In consciousness, awareness will come.
But when awareness comes, it becomes conscious.
Yes.
Either you give up that aparadh or you consciously do that aparadh. But it is no longer called unconscious aparadh, correct?
Oh, I do agree, Prabhuji.
So how to become aware that I have unconscious aparadhs? Either long-standing or recent.
Yes. Prabhuji, if we lose interest in chanting and reading shastras,
yes,
then we can identify, at least not instantly, but in long run, we'll understand that we have done some aparadha.
Exactly. So by the results we will know. Aparadha produces result. By the result we will know there is aparadha. Why I am not getting taste, or why am I losing my taste? Why I don't have interest in the various processes, angas of bhakti. So like that, it was explained. And for that unconscious aparadha, what is the prayaschitta? Anyone can answer. Wrong answer, right answer, nothing. You just tell whatever you feel.
We have to take association of devotees.
Yeah. Then?
Chanting, Prabhuji.
Exactly. The only recourse is to chant the name constantly. Increase the chanting and try to chant as attentively as you can. Just increase the chanting. Because the aparadha is unconscious, you cannot rectify. The aparadha is not within your consciousness. Only evidence is, I don't have taste. So we have to increase our chanting. And by that, steadiness in bhakti will gradually be attained and offenses will be neutralized. From this, the main lesson that we are learning is we cannot give up chanting at any stage. Because I'm losing taste, I'm not enjoying my chanting, maybe it is not working for me. With all these problems also, the solution is to only chant. The solution is never to give up the chanting and take up something else. That is a message which is coming. So you are doing unconscious aparadha in your chanting. What should you do? Give up? No. Increase. Increase. Try to chant incessantly. Then the aparadhas by themselves will go away. So the second part is Nama Aparad done in full knowledge. And that is what we were discussing. The first part of it was disrespect for Vaishnavas. How disrespect done to Vaishnavas will destroy our bhakti, whether it is to Vaishnava or to spiritual master. They work very seriously. It's actually Matahati offense, a mad elephant offense. So we should not do it. And the remedy for that kind of offense is to fall at the feet of the devotee to whom you have committed offense and seek forgiveness. Serve him in so many ways until he will forgive you. And some devotees are so nice that they don't take offense at all. Even then, you should not think, oh, he has not taken offense, I am saved. No, you are not saved. Why? Because the dust of the lotus feet of the senior devotees, pure devotees, they don't forgive. The devotee will not take offense only, no question of forgiving, but his dust will not forgive. So, in those cases also, we have to repeatedly fall at their lotus feet, seek forgiveness, and do such things which will please them. So, obviously, when we say such things that will please them, they are spiritual activities only. A pure devotee does not want anything material from you. So, when it is said that you try to please him, you please him through your spiritual activities. So, that is mentioned that if you have committed offense to an exalted Vaishnava who doesn't take offense, still you must do this. Otherwise, the dust will not forgive. But if a devotee has actually taken offense and despite your best effort, he doesn't forgive you, then you should chastise yourself in your heart, saying, how unfortunate I am that I have caused this offense and this devotee is not in a mood to forgive me. I am so bad that I have committed such a serious offense. In that mood, with a lot of regret, we should chant, increase our rounds. It is not that, oh, I have one master remedy. And now I want you to tell me what we should not do when we have done Vaishnava Aparadha. To come out of it, what is not the correct approach?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, not associating with the devotees, materialistic people, and then particularly as per my experience, Prabhuji, if I associate with public other people in daytime, automatically the disturbance will cause us next day chanting.
Very right.
If you are sincerely engaging in consciousness daytime, if I chant my rounds regularly, even after 16 rounds more and more, if I wake up in the early morning, automatically the chanting will be repeats in our hearts. Knowingly or unknowingly, it starts. So because of course my mouth is not opening, but innerly that was going on. Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Hare Krishna 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 Hare. That will happen. So if you give up the association of this non-materialistic people, then automatically we will be purified as per my knowledge from Prabhuji.
That's a very good point. Asatsanga Tyaga, Yehi Vaishnava Achara. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling. What is the Vaishnava etiquette? What is the best Vaishnava etiquette? Asatsanga Tyaga. That is a Vaishnava. Coming into association of devotees is one thing, but very importantly, Asatsanga we have to give it. As you said, otherwise it will become pervasive. It will create problems in all our devotional processes. But the question here is, when you have committed an offense to a Vaishnava, and you know that you have done it, so, and you want to come out of that aparadh, and you already know this, there is no greater prayaschitta than the chanting of the holy name. So you are thinking, why should I take the trouble of going to the Vaishnava and asking for forgiveness? I know by increasing my chanting, my aparadha will go away. So I better just sit and chant. I will not seek forgiveness. he says, Vishnu Chakravarti says, that is the worst offense. That compounds the offense. Knowing that I have committed an offense, but not seeking forgiveness, but thinking I have a substitute mechanism. Just by chanting, I will come out of my aparadh. That, he says, is very serious. That is further offense. Okay. So these are, is there any doubt? Is it clear, these points?
Yes, Prabhu.
Then another point that he says is, sometimes you feel, I have done an aparadh, but that Vaishnava is not very good actually. That Vaishnava has many defects. And because of that, my offense is not very serious. So I don't have to worry. Vishnu Chakravarti says, that is again a serious problem, because you are trying to minimize the other person, the devotee, just to justify your offense. Just you are trying to find fault in the other person, you are trying to minimize the glory of that person, and that excuse you are keeping, okay, my offense is not serious. He says, all the Shastras declare that even persons who have bad conduct, who are duplicitous, who cheat, who are proud, who are addicted to liquor and are wicked, they cannot give up their sin, they are cruel, they are absorbed in wealth, wife and sons. Even such people become liberated by surrendering to the lotus feet of Govinda. So, if a devotee is surrendering, in the process of surrendering to Govinda, all the offenses, defects in him will go away in due course of time. We should not look for faults in them. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sadhureva samantavyaha. Such a person, even though he is having abominable behavior, but you have to consider him as a sadhu, as long as he is engaged in serious devotion to me. So that way, this is not the correct logic, that devotee is not very perfect, so my offense is not serious. That will be, again, a big mistake. So with this, first and third aparadh, every day morning we are chanting 10 aparadhs. So first and third aparadh is covered. Now he is coming to the second aparadh, where he is talking about position of Vishnu and Shiva. Now, can I request any of you or all of you to tell me, what is this Shiva and Vishnu? What do you understand? Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, demigods, so many things we have, Jivatmas. How to understand? And we say everything is the Lord's expansions only. Like that we hear also. So what is this distinction between Shiva and Vishnu, especially?
In Brahma Samhita, it says that Vishnu is milk and Shiva is curd. So Vishnu has transformed into Shiva for the purpose of annihilation, this cosmic manifestation, whereas this curd cannot become milk again.
So this is one understanding we get from Brahma Samhita, that Shiva is not a Jiva soul. Shiva is not a Jiva soul. He is not Vishnu Tattva also. He is not Vishnu Tattva also. That means he is in an intermediate level. Neither Vishnu Tattva nor Jiva Tattva. He is in the middle. What is that middle? That is, as explained, it is milk that has become curd. By the addition of some sour product, correct? So that sour product here is tamogun. He has accepted the Supreme Lord. By accepting tamogun, he is not affected by it, but he has accepted it to come into the material world and to perform the process of annihilation. So he is actually the milk and curd, there is no difference. Milk and curd, there is actually no difference. But still, curd cannot become milk. Milk can become curd. That way, Vishnu Tattva, the Lord, has become Shiva. But Shiva is not equal to Vishnu. He has been transformed. But still, he is not a Jivatma. Understood, or you want to ask anything further on this point?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have recently heard in Gauring Darshan Prabhu's session that whenever Brahma or Indra has done any mistakes or given wrong wounds to demons, Vishnu or Krishna have always chastised them or corrected them. But Vishnu has so much love for Shiva that whenever Shiva has given wrong wounds to the demons, he never chastised or never considered it as offense, but he always goes and helps the situation and make it right, Prabhuji.
Correct. You have the history of Banasur. You have the story of Vrikasur. Vrikasur, by touching the head of Shiva, he wants to destroy. And Vishnu comes in the form of a Brahmana boy and saves him. So same way, Ravana is a very close devotee of Shiva and he has received so many boons from him. So like that, but Vishnu doesn't chastise him because, if you read the Bhagavatam, the Daksha Yajna pastime, you see that Shiva is always absorbed in Vishnu, meditation on Vishnu. Always. Vasudeva consciousness, he is always in that. And in that Vasudeva consciousness, the Lord instantaneously appears. And so Shiva acts like a mad person. He acts like a mad person. And he gives the most compassion to the fallen souls. Number one, Ashutoshi, very easily he is pleased. And number two, he is full of compassion to the most fallen. So that is why Shiva is considered very special. Even to the ghosts and goblins and disembodied beings, Betalas, for all those people he gives mercy. And that's why he's in the Smashan. We even hear in the case of, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha appearance, that Kashyapa Muni is cautioning Diti, hey, see your brother-in-law is in the sky. This Sandhya time, he's traveling in the sky along with all these fallen souls just to find suitable wombs in which to place them so that they can, otherwise they are not having a body only. They are just wandering, but they are attached to Shiva and Shiva is helping them that way. So Shiva is considered very special and it is actually the Supreme Lord's own arrangement, because some people are so envious of Vishnu Tattva, whether it is Krishna or the various forms of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, the Transcendental Lord, who is in complete Suddha Sattva, people have offensive mentality towards them as a person. So they don't want to worship them, And how to save those people? Only to save such people, the Lord sometimes comes as Buddha, Buddha, only to save such fallen souls. Similar way, Lord Shiva helps them to slowly turn, to purify them from Tamogun. Such Tamogun people cannot engage with Sattvagun devotees. They are not capable of taking association of Vaishnavas. So who will take care of them? So Lord Shiva has taken their job. And that is why Shiva himself says, I am the best Vaishnava. Vaishnavas consider me as the best Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam eta Sambhu. They worship me. And Vaishnavas love me. And I also love Vaishnavas. He tells the Prachetas, my darshan is very difficult for those people who are meditating on me for thousands of years. I don't give darshan. But you did not even call me, but I have come. Why? Because you are going to meditate on the Supreme Lord. And I am very pleased with all of you. So this is the relationship between Vishnu and Shiva. It is transformation of milk, but it is not milk. And because Lord Shiva is combined with that Tamogun doesn't affect him, but he has taken the Tamogun in order to serve the fallen souls of this material world. So for us to take Lord Shiva's association is not recommended. For us to perform bhakti to Lord Shiva is not recommended. We just respect him. We understand that he is milk and curd. He is not different from the Supreme Lord. There is Abheda. Milk and curd, it is the same product. So there is no distinction. But still, we don't take association of Lord Shiva or Lord Shiva's devotees because of the mix of Tamoguna. We want Suddha Sattva, right? We want Prema principle. So we have to directly connect with Vishnu Tattva and Vaishnavas. That is why, but in our heart, if we harbor any ill feelings towards Lord Shiva, that becomes aparad because he is a Vaishnava. Even though he's not wearing tilak, like a Vaishnava, he's wearing ashes all over the body. But still, he's actually Vaishnava. He's a mufti Vaishnava. He doesn't show himself as Vaishnava. But if someone goes to Varanasi and dies there, Lord Shiva chants the Tarak Naam, Ramanam in his ears and delivers him. He doesn't chant Om Namah Shivaya in the ears. Lord Shiva, to someone who is dying in Varanasi, chants the name of Lord Ram. In fact, Lord Shiva is constantly chanting the name of Lord Ram. So to the dying person, when Lord Shiva chants that name in his right ear, they get, liberated. So these are the ways that Lord Shiva is engaged in this material world. So Brahma also is a Sattva avatar, Guna avatar. But oftentimes, Brahma is a very exalted soul. The most exalted soul in the universe is chosen as Brahma. Very rarely, when such a soul is, qualified soul is not there, Supreme Lord Vishnu will play the role of Brahma also. But that is very rare. Similarly, in the case of Lord Shiva, very, very rarely some Jiva soul may play that role. But almost all the time, it is Vishnu only playing the role of Lord Shiva. But you don't see him as Vishnu. It is an aparat to see him as Vishnu. You have to see him as Shiva only, as the greatest Vaishnava. Right? Is this clear, the principle?
Yes.
So, the independent being, so here he gives some distinctions of misunderstanding the position of Vishnu and Shiva. There are two types of conscious beings. Okay, all these things are typical Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Conscious beings, because there are two types of things. One is unconscious and conscious. Okay, unconscious is jada, matter, and conscious is spirit. The level of consciousness may be high and low, but the moment there is consciousness, it is different. There is spirit, matter and spirit. So he says, in the conscious beings, there are two types, independently conscious and dependent. Okay, two types of beings are there. The independent being is Ishvara, all-pervading Lord, Supreme Lord, that is Ishvara. And dependent beings are Jivas. Clear, no? Two types of conscious beings. So Nityo Nityanam, Chetanaha Chetananam, Eko Bahunam, Yo Vizati Kama. We keep hearing this from Srila Prabhupada, Kathopanishad. So among all the conscious beings, there is one supreme being who is fulfilling the needs of all the other conscious beings. And he is independent. All the other conscious beings are dependent on him. So the dependent beings are called Jiva. Another name for them is energies of the Lord. So it is not that Jiva is as good as the Lord. The Lord is always the energetic, and the Jiva is his superior energy. Paraprakriti. Prakriti only, the Jiva. So they are the energies of the Lord, and they pervade the individual body. Now I have a body. I am a soul inside this body. I am pervading the whole body by my consciousness. By my consciousness, I am pervading the whole body. So, but when you take the independent consciousness, that is Ishvara, he is not at all touched by Maya. We are all touched by Maya. I am thinking this body is me, but he is not touched at all. And the other, for the Lord's pastimes. So here, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is making a distinction in the independent consciousness. Dependent consciousness, all Ishvara, done. When you come to independent consciousness, there are two types. One is untouched by Maya. Can you give me a name for this? Independent being untouched by Maya. Please.
Is it the Bhagavan, Narayana?
Exactly. Vishnu Tattva. We call it as Vishnu Tattva. All the forms of Lord Vishnu who are beyond the modes, they are untouched by Maya, never touched by Maya. Even when Vishnu comes into the material world as a Gunavatar, he is not touched by Maya. That is a distinction, right? Lord Shiva accepts Samogun. Lord Brahma accepts Rajogun. But Vishnu doesn't accept Sattvagun. He is always in Suddha Sattva. That is why we say sometimes expansion, partial expansion, the expansion of the expansion. We hear all these things, correct? In Vishnu Tattva. But they are all the same. They are all the same only. It is just a difference between a candle, one candle lights another candle. That's all. If you have any doubts, please ask me. There is no distinction at all. The Lord and his expansions. Only he exhibits his full powers as Krishna. And he exhibits less powers through the expansions, depending on the purpose. But they are all Vishnu Tattva. And they are all untouched by Maya. Clear, no? But the other type, for the Lord's pastimes, accepts the touch of Maya. Okay. So the first type of Ishvara is called by such names as Narayana. So the first type of person can be Narayana, Sankrishna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, all these kinds of names. Or Rama, Balarama, Parasurama, Narasimha, they are all the first type, untouched by Maya. Hari is directly the non-material Lord, devoid of the material gunas. So Hari, Narayana, they are beyond the gunas. Second type of Ishvara is called by such names as Shiva. Shiva Shakti-yutaha Shashvat Trilingo Gunasamvritaha. Shiva accepts the three gunas and is covered by them. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. So Shiva allows the gunas to cover him, but he's not affected by it. He's not affected by it because he's Ishvara, right? He's independent Ishvara. Remember, Ishvara means independent, we have already seen. Independent means untouched by Maya, correct? But he accepts the three modes for the purpose of pastime. He allows to be covered. That is his mercy. We call him as curd for that reason. Though Shiva is covered by gunas, one should not think that he is in the category of Jiva. So, Brahma Samhita, that shloka is quoted here. Kshiram yata dadivikara visesha yoga sanjayate nahitata pradadasti heto yes sambhutam abhitata samapaidikaryat govindamadi purusham tamaham vadam. So, just as milk becomes transformed into curd, and just as curd cannot be retransformed into milk, Shiva and Vishnu have that kind of a relationship. And it is only Govinda who has become Shiva like that. Okay. But still, you don't worship Shiva as Vishnu Tattva. Why? This is how the Acharyas teach us. So there are so many secret things which you will know only through the help of Acharyas. There is no other way. That's why we are eternally grateful to them. Not only to navigate the material world, but even to navigate the whole spiritual process. We need the Acharya's help at every moment, and it is there. So we are always grateful to them.
Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you say Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. Then why is he not a Vishnu Tattva?
He is Vishnu Tattva only, but you don't call him Vishnu Tattva. He is Vishnu only. Milk and curd.
Okay.
But you should never call him as Vishnu Tattva. There is Vishnu Tattva, there is Jiva Tattva, and there is Shiva. Okay. So there is Vishnu Tattva, who is independent living being, untouched by Maya. Then there is a special category Shiva. He is also independent being, but accepts the modes for pastime purposes. So the Shiva is no longer Vishnu Tattva.
He is also not touched by Maya, isn't it?
He is totally Shiva. Covered by the three modes of material nature.
But is it okay?
For pastime purposes.
Okay.
That means they don't affect him.
Okay.
So, in your heart, you should know he is the greatest Vaishnava, and he is also simply the milk transformed into curd. That you should have in your heart. But you should not go close to Lord Shiva because your aspiration is prema to Krishna. So you can always pray to Shiva, please give me Krishna prema. Please connect me with the Lord Krishna. He will happily oblige you. But you don't go to him for any other personal favors. Lord Shiva. You keep the distance. You go to everything you want. You go to Lord Vishnu only, to Vishnu Tattva only. Right.
Hare Krishna.
So in many other scriptures also, Shiva is called Ishvara, you see. Ishvara Paramakrishna. But Shiva is also called Ishvara. That Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling. He is giving another shloka from Govind Brahma Samhita. Bhashvan yatashma sakaleshu nijeshu teja sriyam kiyat prakadayat yapi tadvatatra brahma yayesha jagadanda vidhana karta govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, who becomes Brahma. Right? Who becomes Brahma? The creator of the universe. Then within bracket, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes. This bracket is important. In the bracket he writes, by bestowing his powers to that jiva, it becomes avesha. He selects the best jiva and bestows the powers on the jiva. So that way, Supreme Lord becomes Brahma, the creator. Just as the sun, one example is also given to help you understand. There is a Surya Kanta stone. You know, the Surya Kanta stone, it reflects the sunlight and it looks exactly like the sun. You know, like in typically some stone is lying on the road, you know, some with a lot of polish. And in the midday sun, the sunlight reflects from that stone and the stone exactly looks like the sun only. A small sun, you know. So Brahma practically displays a small portion of the powers of Lord Vishnu. So here the shloka says, I worship Supreme Lord Govinda, who becomes Brahma. How he becomes Brahma? By reflecting a part of his powers through Brahma. Brahma is only reflecting Vishnu's powers. In that sense, you are experiencing Vishnu's powers through Brahma. So in that sense, Brahma is also Vishnu. So this is the explanation that is given. Just as the sun displays a small portion of its power of heat and light in all the sunstones which represent it. The stones, they are simply reflecting the sun's light. So there is one more example given from Bhagavatam first canto. Smoke is superior to wood. In the wood, no fire is visible, but fire is inside the wood, right? But it's not manifested. Simply dull wood, nothing. But there is another wood from which smoke is arising. That smoke is better than the wood because the smoke indicates there is fire. You cannot see the fire through the smoke. It's only smoke is coming. But smoke is an indication that there is fire somewhere. Then the fire itself, from the wood, fire is coming out. That is the best. Directly you are able to see the fire. These three categories are mentioned. Okay. So similarly, Rajogun is better than Tamogun and Sattvagun is better than Rajogun because Sattva is favorable for realizing the Lord. This is Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, 1st canto. Sutta Goswami is telling why it is important for us to rise to Sattvaguna from Tamoguna or Rajoguna, because Sattvaguna represents fire, Rajoguna represents smoke, and Tamoguna represents dull wood. But there is fire in all three, but the manifestation is in different degrees. As smoke is superior to wood, so mode of passion is superior to mode of ignorance. But just as there is no fire in the smoke itself, that way, through the mode of passion, you cannot perceive God. Mode of passion is better than mode of ignorance, but still it cannot reveal God to you. But in the mode of goodness, which is like the blazing fire, one can directly perceive the Lord. So Sattvagun, where it is almost like a transparent glass, you can perceive Lord Vishnu. Just as fire is, but in the wood, fire is very much there. Otherwise, how it can burn? When the wood burns, there is an indication that fire is in the wood. So, in the mode of ignorance also, the presence of God is there. We have to assume that it is in latent state. It is not manifesting. God consciousness is there in tamogun objects also, like a worm or a plant or, in complete ignorance. There also, God consciousness is there, most covered like that. So the happiness of realization of the Lord, Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says, if you realize Brahman, impersonal aspect, the happiness can be compared to the state of tamogun. Tamogun. He gives another comparison: sleeping, dreaming, waking. He says the realization of Brahman or Brahma Ananda, that can be compared to the sleeping state. And the sleeping state can be compared to the wood, dull wood. Okay. Then he comes to Jivas. So we have finished with Shiva Tattva. Shiva Tattva is clear, right? We come to Jiva. Jivas are two types. Those who are covered by Maya, this will be a little difficult to understand. Those who are covered by Maya and those who are not covered by Maya, even in Jivatmas, right? First we said independent and dependent, correct? Independent is Vishnu Tattva, Shiva Tattva is also independent. When you come to dependent Tattva, they are all Jivas. And among these dependent Jivas, there are those covered by Maya, those who are not covered by Maya, among Jiva Tattva. The covered Jivas are, who are the covered Jivas? Can you give me some examples? Who are the covered Jivas?
We humans,
Yes.
humans,
Animals.
animals,
Yes.
and even devtas, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly. So anything living entity within the material world covered by the modes, having desire to enjoy, to control, right? To own, control and enjoy. These are the nature of bound souls. They are covered by Maya, including the devatas, demigods, whom we worship for various favors. They are also covered by Maya. That is why we are told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, don't worship demigods. Why? Blind leading the blind. If you hope that they will lead you to liberation, sorry, even they are not liberated. Liberation means beyond the Maya, beyond the three modes of nature. When we say they are in Maya, that means they are covered by the three modes of material nature. So how can they take you beyond the modes? They are themselves bound by the modes. So this distinction is making covered jivas, man, animals and devatas, they are all covered. And uncovered jivas, there are two types. Uncovered jivas, there are two types. Who are these uncovered jivas? Definitely we are not in the category. Uncovered jivas, those endowed with Lord's Aishwarya Shakti and those uninfluenced by that Shakti. Okay, so we are now talking about liberated souls, correct? Not covered by Maya. We are talking about the transcendental souls. Among them, two categories Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is making. So one type is influenced by the Aishwarya Shakti of the Lord. Second type is uninfluenced. So he is explaining further. Those not influenced by the Lord's Aishwarya Shakti, among them there are two types. Two types are not influenced by Aishwarya Shakti. First, then we'll go to influence. Uninfluenced souls, two types. One is, he says, lamentably, the jnanis, by practicing jnana, they merge into the Lord. They merge into the Lord. They are also not influenced by the Lord's Aishwarya Shakti. Right? They are not interested in the Aishwarya of the Lord. Correct? Please understand, you have to deeply meditate it, because there is an element of sarcasm in this. Sometimes you appear to appreciate somebody, actually you are criticizing. Right? Sometimes we appreciate. People who are superficially seeing you, they will think you are actually appreciating, but actually you are criticizing. So like that, he is telling, among those uninfluenced by the Shakti, Aishwarya Shakti of the Lord, two categories are there. One category is, unfortunately, lamentably, those who want to merge in the form of the Lord, jnanis, right? And then the second category is those who, by practicing bhakti, they remain separate from the Lord. They don't merge. So the two types among the independent jivas, rather dependent jivas, but who are uncovered by Maya, one type wants to merge. They take merger. They don't appreciate the Aishwarya. But the second category, they also don't want Aishwarya. But what they do, they remain separate from the Lord. As a result, they are able to experience the sweetness of the Lord. These are the bhaktas. So he's differentiating between bhaktas and impersonalists, the perfect impersonalists, who are eventually able to merge into the form of the Lord. They are unfortunate because they have reached such a high level. They could have become bhaktas, but unfortunately, they choose to merge in the Lord. The second
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Where does it yogi come, Prabhuji?
Yogi or jnani, if the aim is to merge in the Lord, they are covered here. Okay, because yogi, oftentimes they want special powers. They want to transport themselves to different planets, material planets or spiritual planets. They are the yogis, So among the yogis also, if somebody is practicing yoga, because yoga is simply a path, the goal is important, abhilasha. If his abhilasha is to merge in the Lord, he will also merge. So he is also included here. Those who choose to merge in the Lord, they are the souls which are not covered by Maya, but unfortunate. They will never taste the sweetness of the Lord. The second category of the jivas is those by practicing bhakti, they remain separate from the Lord and they taste his sweetness. See, great secrets are being revealed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yes, are you able to appreciate? Some deep understandings are coming from these things, right? We talked about the Lord and the jivas, and the jivas we are now appreciating in different ways. Now there is one category we have not yet discussed. What is that category? Tell me.
One that is not endowed with the Lord's Aishwarya Shakti, Prabhuji.
Influence, not influenced by Aishwarya Shakti, we have seen two categories. One is those who merge and the bhaktas.
And the other that is influenced by the Aishwarya Shakti.
That category we have not yet seen. Probably we will see that now.
Excuse me, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the jnanis and yogis,
yes.
They always aspire to merge with the Lord, or what? Is it?
See, basically, we make a distinction between materialists and transcendentalists. Okay? That's a basic distinction. Materialistic people, they just want to enjoy. Even up to Brahmaloka, they're all called materialistic people. They just want to enjoy greater or lesser degrees of temporary happiness. Right? Then you have the transcendentalists. Transcendentalists have understood that this material world is full of misery only. I want to transcend this. This temporary happiness I don't want. I want to go beyond this. We call them transcendentalists. Among these transcendentalists, there are many categories. One category is a yogi who wants to also go beyond matter. Then you have the jnani who also wants to go beyond matter. And the bhakta who doesn't care. He wants to simply remain in Krishna consciousness. He's automatically liberated. He doesn't make any effort. He just wants to remain conscious. So all these three categories are called transcendentalists. But the jnanis are called impersonalists. And the yogis are called the Paramatmavadis. And the bhaktas are called the worshippers of Bhagavan, Bhagavatas. Right? So all these people are called transcendentalists in one name. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So it's all depending on the goal of that person. Karma, jnana, and yoga are paths, but they have a goal. What is that goal? That's what you have to see. So now we come to those who are influenced by Aishwarya Shakti. There also he is giving two categories. One is influenced by the jnana and second is influenced by karma. So they are influenced by the Aishwarya Shakti of the Lord. So those who are influenced by the jnana element, they are called, for example, Kumaras. Kumaras are the example for those who are influenced by the spiritual Aishwarya of the Lord, right? They belong to the spiritual sphere, spiritual jnana. Second category he is giving, those who are influenced by such elements as function of creation, etc. Function of creation is in the material universe. The example is Brahma. Clear? These categories, you can make a chart out of it if you like. You can make a tree diagram, and in that you can mark all these things. And just you can, in a small bracket, you can explain what it means. Then you will have a very clear understanding. Can anyone make it and show it to us next time? We call it a tree diagram.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will try.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think it's time for us to wind up today. We can meet again tomorrow. All of you can come tomorrow also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Vancha
Prabhuji,
yeah.
these yogis, they will attend Sadhyo Mukti